question, don't hesitate to message me anytime. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right. So what got you interested in coaching?
Prior to playing Overwatch, I had never considered that gaming or coaching for gaming would be a thing. But I was perusing I think it was Overwatch University subreddit, and there's posts all over that place. And then I saw a post, I think it was something from Kajor, I think, who mentioned you, and I was like, huh, I'll check that guy out. And I saw your channel. I started watching a bunch of videos, and they're really good.
Oh, appreciate it.
And I watched your it's the platinum Genji guide on on Spylo 1. I watched that one. That was really good.
Sick.
Yeah, really good.
Sick. Cool. All right, sounds good. How long you been playing Overwatch?
I started. Let me figure this out. Hang on. I started before Moira in Overwatch 1, I think. Hero release, and I stopped right after Ash, maybe 2 months after Ash was released.
Gotcha.
And then
why'd you stop?
I think we just kind of got a little bored of the game. I think Brigitte had a hand in
it. For sure.
But yeah, we jumped around to different games. I play with a group of buddies of mine mostly.
Okay, makes sense.
And then we all kind of right the month before Overwatch 2 came out, one of us suggested, hey, we should play Overwatch again. And I was like, all right, whatever. So we installed it again and started playing it. And then a month, a few weeks after Overwatch 2 came out, I was kind of getting a little serious into the competitive part of it. Because in Overwatch 1, I peaked gold, I think.
Right.
And then that first season of Overwatch 2, I got into plat. And I was like, oh, okay. Maybe I'm a little bit better than I used to be. I don't know.
Okay. And then Genji Sojourn, why those characters particularly?
I will say I've kind of dipped off of Sojourn a little bit.
Sure.
I kind of just jump around all hit scan heroes. I used to be a Cassidy one, pretty much one trick in Overwatch 1. He was really fun to me. I like the cowboy.
Yeah.
But he's kind of dog in Overwatch 2 right now. But I also kind of enjoyed Genji just because he's very dynamic, very fun.
Sure.
And when Overwatch 2 came out, he was really good with the passive. Plus I guess the loss of a tank meant you could get away with a little bit more.
Right. Right.
So I've been just kind of going full into Genji play.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. I mean, he's a great character.
He's definitely what I consider the character I could have most fun playing right
now. Sure. Makes sense. Okay. So Genji, and you're still plat?
Yeah, I'm plat.
Okay.
1.
Sounds good. Okay. What do you hope to get out of the session? I hope to gain clarity on my path improvement so that I can improve more efficiently, as well as eliminating weaknesses in my gameplay / mental that may be missing. Okay. Sounds good. Genji mostly play around 2 hours per day of focused practice, maybe some quick play with friends if want to play, and occasional scrims matches for a college team. So how long have you been part of the college team?
I got on it last semester.
Nice.
So I've been on it for a full semester.
Okay. Congrats. How's that going?
I won one game. I'm a sub, so I played 2 or 3 games, and I won one of them. And I was pretty proud of that. So
okay, that's awesome. Okay, sounds good. Let's see here. So when you say 2 hours of focused practice, I assume that's ranked.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. And then that's 2 hours of rank per day, and then sometimes some quick play with friends on the average day. Okay, sounds good. Do you warm up at all?
Not consistently.
Okay. Have you tried warming up in the past? And if so, why is it not really stuck?
I have, especially on days when I play hit scan. I'll jump on the aim trainer. One of my teammates actually got me on Kovacs. He just he reviewed one of my Genji games and was like, bro, I don't think he did that good at reviewing me, but he basically just kind of dogged on my mechanics the entire time.
Sure.
Like, dude, you got to get on Kovacs. And I was like, all right, whatever.
Sure.
But I started doing that a little bit. And then I've used Vaxta a couple times.
Yeah.
And did just some deathmatch every now and then.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna be real. As somebody that used to play a lot of Genji back in the day, the only thing that really improved my Genji mechanics without like boring me to death was mostly just deathmatch.
I don't think Kovacs does a whole lot for me on Genji.
It's just not you're not as much of a point and click character, right? There's a lot of like dynamic use of your abilities and like close range tracking and using your deflect and wall climb. I just grind try hard a free for all and then or unranked deathmatch as much as it possibly could, and that was like what helped me to get better. So if you want to improve your mechanics, if you want to find a warm up that like actually matters, that's what you need to be doing.
He also like told me at the time of doing that I was running like 800 and like 6 sensitivity.
Yep, it's good.
He was like, "Bro, your sensitivity's too high," and I was like, "What?"
No, that's fine.
He told me he runs like 400 and like 4, and I was like, "Oh
No. Not with Genji. There's no way that would work. Yeah, 4800 EDPI is totally fine. That's fine for hit scan. That's fine for Genji. That's fine for anything. That's what I would say. I would say it honestly is actually an average sense for pro players, so you're good.
I cranked it up a little bit just because I was having trouble like consistently getting 180s. So
Yeah.
I cranked it up to 8.
Yeah.
That's still like within the range of acceptability.
8 times 800. Well, how big is your mouse pad approximately?
A little over a foot wide.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I would say I would try to find a happy medium if possible because that is a little bit more risky. And you probably have enough space to do comfortably with like 7. You know what I'm saying? But 8 is not that bad. 8's also pretty much fine too. So okay. Anyway, that's all there is to it. Okay, let's keep going here. I guess to close the warm up discussion. I would recommend warming up every day. But my recommendation for warm up is like 5 to 10 minutes of deathmatch, like 1 game of deathmatch unranked, and then you're done. You do not need to be warming up for 15, 20, 20, 30, 45 minutes, like anything like that. If you want to do additional aim training after that and you want to like grind some deathmatch while you're like listening to some music, you could even literally turn the audio off and just play. That's fine. But you don't need like these extensive long warm ups at all.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. But yeah, that's mostly it. I also recommend if you aren't already taking a break between games, especially during your 2 hours of grind sessions, because you're yeah, it's just to kind of because you talked about like you say 2 hours per day of focused practice. Well, that's awesome. Like that's 90% of it. That last 10% is going to be about making sure that those 2 hours are really focused by taking like 1 minute, just literally 1 minute while you're in queue, right? May have heard me talk about that before, but it just kind of keeps your energy, keeps your focus up, helps you prevent from tilt and all that kind of stuff.
Usually what I do between queue now,
Yeah.
I hit the button and then I usually have like a stream or like a Northern Lion VOD pulled up on my left monitor and I just watch that.
Yeah. I mean, that can be useful, but your brain's still engaged, right?
Yeah. I feel like I need to like take the headset off, like get up, like walk around.
Go feed the horse again.
Yeah, go feed the horse.
Yeah, like, but seriously, like if you even if it's just 60 seconds, I did this recently when I was like grinding Samra on the rework to learn it better, so I could coach her better. And I cannot tell you how much, like, little bit. I found myself being able to play for like 50% more games without like losing focus, without tunnel vision, without getting tilted and so on. Because I would do it even before I got tilted, but before I even got tired. It was like preventative action. You kind of get what I'm saying? So, yeah. I would look into that. It doesn't have to be every game, but just something to try and incorporate into your gameplay. Okay, here goals. I just want to continue to get better. Short term, I want to reach diamond. I'm confident I can achieve that. Long term, I just want to improve as much as I can, see how far up the ladder I can climb. More importantly, I want to be able to perform more consistently for my college team. The others on the team are all GM level players, and sometimes I feel like I can cook alongside them and play pretty well. But I feel the majority of the time I get my own head, and that holds me back from taking aggressive angles, flanks out of fear of failing mechanically. That's very relatable. I think because honestly, you're worse than they are. Right? Like, let's not lie, right? You're worse than they are. So the problem with that, though, is that it kind of becomes a compounding problem where it's like, because you're worse than they are, you then are scared. And so then you play worse than you normally would. You play worse than you should. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might not even play like a plat player. You may play like a low plat player because you're so scared. So, there's 2 solutions to this problem. And really both need to be incorporated. 1, you need to get good, right? You need to get good at the game. And 2, you need to, as best as you possibly can, when you get thrown into those, thrown in as a sub, to realize that like the best thing that you could do is just play your game and not overthink it. Don't try to give the enemy team more respect. Don't try to give your teammates more respect than they deserve. Just play the game, right? Now that's obviously easier said than done, but that's something that you can practice. It's like, even if we were to get you to diamond, it's still going to feel the same way, right? You're still going to feel outclassed. And heck, we get you to masters and you'd still feel outclassed because guess what? You are, right? But along that path, you can practice that, for lack of a better term, mental toughness, to where you're just like, you know what? I'm just going to show up, do the best I can, and not worry as much. And that's, to be honest with you, there's not like really a trick to that. You just have to actively practice it every time you go get subbed in the scrim, every time you get subbed into a game.
Yeah. Well, like sometimes I'll play like quick play with my teammates, or like we had this this event for the org where we were just kind of like playing Overwatch as like a thing. And I was like going a little crazy in the pugs. I actually won the pugs. I have the trophy.
So why? What was the difference, right?
I guess it was just like the pressure.
Yeah.
Because then like when one of those games, like the captain was like, "Yo, why don't you play this in scrims?" Like, I don't know.
But you kind of see what I'm saying, right? The pressure, right? You know, that pressure, like that was the difference right there. You know, so it's like for you, it's like it's not about necessarily taking away that pressure. Part of it is also just getting used to it and not letting it bother you as much, right? I think that's kind of one of the reasons why I love Overwatch, because the way I look at it is it's a life skill, right? Because it's finding ways to kind of adapt to pressure, because this kind of stuff doesn't just go away when you stop playing Overwatch. You know, there's always a way where something like performing for better teammates, that's an analogy for so many things in life, you know, that you're going to have to deal with. So you might as well learn how to not cope with it, but be able to kind of thrive under that pressure and really learn, right? Not just necessarily pop off. You could actually troll the scrim, right? But you were like, hey, I wasn't super tilted or distracted or scared. That's a victory, you know, for you anyway. So, okay. What do you feel is holding you back from improving? I feel like my mechanics are pretty good for where I am, maybe a little inconsistent. That's normal. I feel like I'm prone to lose focus during games due to getting tilted by teammates trolling, getting diffed, the usual. I try to reset my mental after fight losses, but sometimes the tilt is just too much. Last thing I think is sometimes it's just hard feed because I ego sometimes way too hard, see red, disrespect my enemies, and so on. Okay, so the tilt thing about your teammates and being prone to your emotions, right there, that's definitely something that would immediately benefit from taking breaks between games. And the other thing you got to be like is you can't tilt at your teammates. You got to focus on what you need to be doing better yourself. But the question is do you go into games of your 2 hours of focused practice with something to practice, or do you just go in and play?
Yeah, I try to.
You know, and that's going to be probably the number one thing, because it's easy to say don't tilt. It's a lot easier to say, hey, don't tilt because you're thinking about something else, more productive, right?
Give your mind something else to focus
on. Right. Because you shouldn't be pressing tab and like looking at your team's awful KD, because you should be thinking, okay, next fight I got to use my deflect like this, or I've got blade, so let me think about how do I want to set this up, right? And it's like, obviously you're not going to be totally oblivious to your teammates inting their brains out when they do, but if you're focusing more on what you need to be doing or you inting your brains out, then it's going to be a little bit easier to not get as upset. Because the problem with tilt and the problem with getting mad at your teammates is not only does it make the experience negative, not only is it a mean thing to do, but it's also, it means that you're not putting your mental resource into what's going to actually make you better. Like as soon as you get tilted and you're thinking about your teammates, you are wasting your time playing the game. You're not going to get better. Because playing isn't good enough. You have to focus, practice, right? I mean, you even use the term, right? And so you're not focused. As soon as you're tilted, you're not focused. It's over. You know, so it's just wasted time at that point. And it's miserable wasted time too. So it's a double loss. So I guess, like I said, you know, take the breaks, remind yourself of what you need to focus on. Remind yourself that there's going to be a certain percentage of games that just aren't winnable at your current skill level. So don't worry about it. Just treat every game like practice. And then also, most importantly, remind yourself what you need to actually be doing every single game. And obviously, we'll get to that in the review in a few minutes. But ultimately, you know, you have to be able to coach yourself. You have to be able to lead yourself. Otherwise, you're going to struggle.
I feel like I do well with like a mantra where I'm kind of like, I like enter every like life with like, it's just practice.
Yeah.
Focus on blank. That kind of thing. And just like repeating that to myself.
Yeah. It's freaking hard though, right? Yeah. It's really, really hard. But you have to do it, because like that's the thing is not everybody can do it. Not everybody can do it. So if you can do it, then you're going to be putting yourself, then you're going to be improving, right? There's the thing about it this way, like for every player for every time that you climb into diamond, right? Somebody's going back into gold, or somebody's going back into plat. That's not exactly accurate, but it's close enough. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so for you, it's just like, you got to be. It's not good enough for you to be like, oh, like, you got to be actively have a better mentality than some other player if you want to improve. It's a competitive world. So if you've got the ability to just focus on yourself, then you're going to rank up. If you're going to sit there and till at your teammates like every other plat Andy out there, then yeah, guess what? You're going to stay in plat. That's kind of where you're at right now. So okay, because you have to be extraordinary to get to high rank in Overwatch.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like my mental when I'm in like scrims and like matches with my team is kind of like flipped on its head, where I don't get like tilted at them or like really tilted at all. I'm just kind of like scared small bean, but I'm also like radiating this like positive energy of like, hey guys, we're gonna do great, we're gonna do fucking awesome, man.
And
my coach will be like, because I have a bunch of people on my team who are like really like toxic and like say like mean things to each other. And then like my coach will be like, why can't you guys all be like vanilla? He's just like, I had to.
I mean, for you, it's also like, you're the lower ranked player, so you got fewer negative things to say because you can't really throw stones. You know what I'm saying? The other one is that also, these guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? The problem with Overwatch Ranked is those guys are literal robots. You don't know them. You don't know that. You don't see their face. You've never met them. You don't know what they're like. You don't know anything about them at all. So you can't really. It's hard to like assume the best out of. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot easier to be harder on them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it. So, you have to kind of understand that these guys are people too. You got to be better than that. But, it's a skill set. So, okay. Sleep looks good. Do you have any other questions?
I have one specific question about Hero Pool.
Sure.
I used to play tank in like, let me look. It's like season 4. I peaked diamond and tank, and then kind of stopped after season 5.
Yeah.
I also played a little bit of support in the past. I peaked diamond 2 last season. I guess I don't really feel like playing tank right now just because it feels so dog. But I do kind of still want to play support some.
Sure.
How would I like divide the time, I guess?
What role would be more important, and then that role gets 75% of your time would be the way I'd look at it, approximately.
Okay.
And just toy with that percentage, depending on how serious you get, and also just toy with what works best for you. Maybe it's a 50-50, maybe it's a 75-25. I've worked with people that have like a support day and a DPS day. Like you'd have 4 days of DPS, 2 days support. Some people are like, I have to play the role every single day. So I do like 3 games or 1 game, 2 games DPS, 4 or 5 games tank, support, whatever else. But yeah.
That's kind of how I've been doing it, with like having like days for it, but I don't have like a hard and fast like division, I guess.
Yeah.
Days.
Yeah. And that's kind of like what you want to do is you don't want to be like so like robotic and like dry that you're you just steal the fun out of it. But a little bit of structure goes a long way. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, Ana is my main like support character that I really like. She's kind of like the Genji of my support.
Yeah.
But then I have like a lot of other characters that I also like really enjoy. I have a hard time picking which one.
Yeah. Yeah. So just toy with that. Like I think be self-aware of like what you enjoy, what works better for you. Be flexible, but try to find some sort of a structure with how you do it. I don't think there is any really one right answer to how you approach that, to be honest.
Okay.
That makes sense. Okay. Any other questions?
No.
Okay. Do you want to take a look at some gameplay?
Sure.
All right. Shoot me a code and we'll take a look.
Let me figure which one of these I want to do. You said you want like close games.
Yeah, close games. Win or loss doesn't matter. Close game though.
I guess I'll pick this one. Oh, they're good. This one has 82% Genji, 18% Ash.
There you go.
I need the code guy. What the heck?
Got it. Okay. Genji.
This was a bad day, by the way.
Ha!
This was
Love it.
having not a lot of fun.
Okay. We'll take a look. All right. So, what is Genji good at? What are your priorities? Is there anything you've been working at specifically with Genji? Goals with Genji? Strengths, weaknesses, the whole 9 yards.
I've been working on timing my engages with my team.
Lovely. Okay.
He's good at killing people at close range with combos and being a nuisance.
Sure. Makes sense.
I played a game yesterday with one of my friends. I was in like a gold lobby and like me and him, he was on Kiriko, I was on Genji, and we like distracted like 3 members of their team for like 4 minutes. It was like a Sojourn, a Mercy, and like somebody else, and they were just like following us while their other team was getting cooked.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. Anything else that Genji stands out? So you talk about timing with your tank, assassinations, anything else that you've been practicing recently? That's plenty. Just double checking.
Particularly, I've just been kind of like working on good blades, I guess.
Okay, sounds good. Let's take a look. If any questions come up, just holler and we'll take a look. Pretty good comp to play Genji into. You've got some heroes to pressure, assassinate. Getting close to the snipers is always a challenge, but okay. Taking an angle here. There's the snipers. Can you get close? So you kind of one of the things with Genji is it's like you need to find where's my spot. When we talk about like you play hit scan, right? You're like, I'm gonna find the best off angle with the best sight line and just like hold mouse one, right? In a way, Genji is similar. Maybe not exactly the same, but similar. By that I mean, you know where you're at right now. You're not gonna get any opportunities. Yeah. And you're not going to get any access to squishies, and you're not really doing much of anything. In fact, there's a lot of characters that would do what you're doing right now, but do it a lot better. So where's the goal? I'm not saying there's necessarily any one position you have to choose, but give me somewhere that you could be that would provide more pressure.
Looping around like behind that taxi.
Okay.
Where that doorway is could like give me a good angle on the Widowmaker while she's sitting there chilling.
Okay. Now I'm going to critique this angle. So the first thing I'm going to say is negative. It's too far. It's too far. This is not where you're Genji. Now, this could be a means to an end. In other words, you utilize this angle to go somewhere else, but it's not good enough. So you start with the taxi. Let's start there. Where do you go from the taxi?
Potentially like either walk into the I don't know what that building is, but the room
this
like
here,
right of it.
Yeah.
Or like double jumping up.
Okay, this is closer, right? Heck, you could even go to the fire engine, right? And utilize this angle here. Now you're thinking, oh, this is super, super close. Like this feels risky. Yeah, but you got to get close. You have to. It's double snipered. You're Genji. You're a shotgun hero.
Yeah.
So for you, it's going to be about finding like, okay, when you're utilizing these deflects and you're using your dash and you're moving, you kind of think about flanking there for a second, but it's like, you got to go. You got to get there. Because this is just giving that sniper time to hit shots. You kind of see what I'm saying? You have a dash. Dash in here. Throw some shurikens from here, deflect, whatever, rotate to here, or like I said, rotate to here, or rotate to here. These give you options. This scares the enemy team. Heck, this will force the snipers, instead of being allowed to play here, they're going to have to rotate all the way over here, which means what? Well, now I can use the fire engine more and get even closer, and they lose even angles, and then and so on, right? So your job as Genji is to time your engages, but also just to time you taking space with your tank, because your tank is taking space, right? But do you see how late this is?
Yeah.
Right? Your Junkrat's already dead, right? It's already over. This fight's lost. And heck, you had to use both of your cooldowns just to get here when really you should have only needed one. So, that's it. Risk is making space. Risk is making space. Use it. Don't just fish for the deflect on the Widowmaker. Take space. And now it's too late again. You see this?
Yeah.
Right? You have to get close. You have to get close. There are exceptions to that rule. When would you not want to get close as Genji? Give me some heroes or situations. Tricky question.
Like a Zarya, Symmetra, that sort of cancer.
Bastions, Reapers, anything that you can poke out easily, right? Tracers even, right? Moira, stuff like that where it's like, I'm kind of playing like more of a poke. I still want to take an angle, but maybe I take like a little bit longer angle, like more like a mid-range hero. Right, exactly. Most of the time in Genji, You're a shotgun hero most of the time. Soldier, Ashe, Gasti, Kree, Sojourn, Widowmaker, Hanzo, Ana, Zenyatta. Those are characters you want to get close to. And while Orisa is doing her best to make space, you're not taking any space at all yourself. And so her job is getting really hard because you're not forcing any cooldowns, you're not forcing any distractions, and every single cooldown and every single member on the enemy team is looking at that Orisa, and she just dies. So if I was your tank, talk about, you dealing with, flaming teammates. If I was your tank, I'd be flaming the crap out of you right now. Nah, I'm just joking. I'd be super PMA. Now, I'd be super PMA, but I'd be secretly like, stupid DPS. That's exactly what would be happening. I'd be like that passive-aggressive guy. It's like, come on, team. But I'm like actually like fuming on the other side of the, Noticing a common theme here, right? Yeah. So we don't need to be repetitive here. If we see the problem, we just call it out, but, just be aware. Now, here we go. Here we go. Crazy how that works, right? Crazy how that works. The first time you actually took an angle where you could actually get close, guess what? Your Orisa ends. That buys space and distraction for you to actually make a play, and you capitalize. Your timing was perfect. Your angle was perfect. Holy smokes. Let's keep going with it. And the best part about it is you didn't even have to use your deflect. You can keep going. And there you go. Look at you popping off. And your Orisa's like, man, where was that the whole game? I mean, really, great job. Great job. Good angle, good timing, good use of your CDs. Nice mechanics. Congrats. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay, let's keep going. There goes Sam. There goes Zarya. Doesn't matter. You might not want to get close to the Zarya, but you could still have a priority on Ana and Widow and even Kiriko and honestly even Symmetra. Like Symmetra's like one of those characters that you might not want to stand around near, but she's 200 HP. Right?
I used to be like really scared of Symmetra, but after I started hitting some crazy 180s on her and just deleting her from the game on cooldown, it got really less scary.
Symmetra's like one of those characters that's like it's more like a mechanics check, really. And in many ways, she actually has better poke than you do. With her orb changes in Overwatch 2, really. Just something to be aware of. I like this position. Get a little healing. Little gun shy there. That's okay.
Honestly, I think those things have 1 HP.
Oh, I know. It's annoying. Okay. Coach yourself. Where should you go? What should you do?
I think looking for this little pesky Widowmaker would be fun.
I think so too. This is a really good room for you. Really close. Now, if she hits a crazy shot, but you should have an advantage here. This is a great angle. If she runs from you to her team, doesn't matter. This is still a great angle for you, right? You could set up your blade. You could set up your neutral. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, I feel like I've just given the Widowmaker and the lesser degree the Hanzo just way too much respect this game.
Exactly. And it's the wrong type of respect because the irony is that you standing around where you're at here, just like when you were standing around here, is actually the opposite of respect because you let them just line up shots in you. And guess what? They hit them, right? The Widow hit you, the Hanzo hit you, the Widow killed you. The respect that you should give them is that I don't want to play ball in your ballpark. Right? I don't want to sit here in these long sidelines. I'm going to utilize flanks because that's my ballpark. That's my advantage. So the irony here is that by being scared and by giving them respect in your brain, you're not really giving them respect with your body, which is getting you killed and preventing you from getting value. Does that make sense? So you have to get close to them. Like that's the Hanzos and Widow are terrifying if you stay this far away from them. So couple of things with this one. So we talk about blades. I want you to try to coach yourself here. And where you succeed and where you fail to coach yourself here will give me info about what you know, if that makes any sense. So I want you to coach yourself.
I'm going to go off the Kitsune, but I feel like the team is not in enough, maybe.
Okay, so maybe a timing issue where it's just a teeny bit too early. I probably would agree with that. I don't think it's too bad, but yeah, I would agree. It's a little bit early. Okay, what about the micro?
Have a chance to use the bubbles yet.
That's true.
I don't think it's necessary for me to dash up.
Okay.
I think I've
Why do you dash up? Why is dashing up good?
I think I've developed the habit because it gives me time for my A gives me time for my Ana to like nano me if she needs to, but also gives me like more like vision of like what's going on.
Okay.
But I kind of like already had that knowledge.
So what would you do instead with the blade?
Maybe like wall climb slightly, just give me more height, and then just like dash straight onto them.
So like wall climb up here and then dash
Or
here.
maybe where's Widowmaker again? She's just like in that area.
Mhm.
Yeah, maybe like try to like sneak up just to get a little bit closer and then dash on. So I like make sure I have like the.
So like through here again?
No, not necessarily on the Widowmaker, even though that would have worked probably. I'm just talking like maybe like a double jump off the wall.
Okay.
Like right.
Sure.
Right. Just to
Sure.
Start, like.
Sure. One little detail that you need to be aware of is one of the reasons why people dash in the air is not just for vision, it's also for verticality.
Mhm.
Because if you're able to dash and be not exactly, but try to get exactly above the targets, this is freaking ridiculously hard to shoot.
Yeah.
This is a lot easier. So just be aware of that. It's not a bad idea. But yeah, I agree with what you're saying so far. This dash is extremely risky. You generally dash above them so you can drop on them and then save your dash to pursue and finish targets, right?
Yeah.
So when you commit this here, obviously it's an Ana, she might not get away, but the Symmetra might. And if you don't get a kill right now, you're going to be blindly chopping and might not be able to get a kill. Just something to keep in mind. So I would say the timing of the blade, not bad. Could have been a little bit later. The mechanics and execution and setup of the blade, not bad. Could have been a little bit better. And I think your points are all very accurate.
Yeah, my teammate told me that when I should like blade, I should like look for like slash dash slash instead of like dash slash.
Well, actually, yes and no. So let's actually talk about that because this is an extremely important thing with Genji. So I want you to count the slashes. You ready for this? How many slashes?
They do like 110 each, I think.
Right. Now I want you to count the total slashes on the Dragon Blade total. Like how many chimes do I chop during the timer?
Yeah.
All right, you ready?
Like 8.
Yeah. Okay. Now watch this. I think it's slightly fewer. Okay. The difference is that slash dash does not really increase your time to kill by much, if anything at all. So when you do this, that's just as fast as, essentially, only marginally faster. I actually don't remember the math on it, but it's basically about the same thing. The reason why that's important is because if you go for a slash dash to try and accelerate your kill, and that target uses a mobility cooldown, you're screwed.
Yeah, you lose them.
So you got to be really careful, actually, about using slash dash slash. You only do it when you're 100% guaranteed that that target has no mobility. Does that make sense? Otherwise, it might be better to just go slash slash. Actually, I should not even use dash there. Slash slash. Or if you're nanoed, that's where slash dash will kill, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so just keep that in mind. That's something to experiment with. The TLDR is that slash slash or slash slash dash is going to be better on targets that have mobility. You don't really want to slash dash because then if they have a mobility cooldown, which a lot of targets that you will have, you will not be able to finish the kill. And then you're going to be in serious trouble.
Noted.
Okay, let's keep going here. Okay. Oh, we're way back here. That's right, because you got to go kill the Widow here. Shockingly, this character has no chance when you're at point blank range. Okay. That's that funny angle. Now you got a bit of a challenge here, don't you? Because it was easy when we talked about here. Oh, just, like around here, right? Easy peasy. Well, what the heck are you supposed to do here?
It is a lot of distance. I feel like you have couple options.
Mm-hmm.
You could like go underneath and like come out of that stairwell and like maybe dip behind the cover, like in the that room there.
Mm-hmm.
Use that. To,
It's
like,
risky,
close
but
distance
it's an
until you have
option.
the health
It's
back.
risky, but it's an option. 100%. What else could you do?
You also could potentially. Isn't there? Can you like pan to the right a little bit?
To the right, yeah.
Yeah. So you could like use that window and jump behind the bus to like wrap.
Right?
It's just closing the distance with all this.
Yeah. And heck, you could even dash through to here, hide from the widow, and throw shurikens here. Or throw shurikens here. If you can't access the backline, you could go for the tank, theoretically, from an angle to where they can't shoot you. This is good. I like this. I like this. I like this. But you know what both of those things have in common? They require setup and a little bit of work. So you better go now. But I know you.
Enough time.
And you're not going to go now. Right? It's funny because you were talking about how you're giving the Widowmaker so much respect. It's tricky. You know, your brain says, oh, I don't know what to do. But you got to figure it out. You got to come up with a game plan. I think Genji, more than almost any other DPS, is about finding a game plan. What's my strategy? What's my approach? How am I going to be able to set up my engages? You can't just turn off your brain. Okay. I mean, to be honest with you, this is just your support's kind of trolled. That's all. I don't think this was a bad idea. Why?
Because they're just like so distracted.
Sure. This is where you could have set up that angle that we spoke about, right? It was reasonable. It was unfortunate because some turrets, and it's unfortunate because maybe you timed it a little early. But not a bad idea. You run away. You get forced out. You don't get healing partly because of Simwall, partly because your Ana just misses her shots and your Kiriko misses her shots, and that's pretty much all there is to it. Okay. Okay. I mean, it's okay as long as you don't need your deflect soon. But right now, you need to be going, right? Where am I going to go? Am I going to go up here with my Ryan and split off? Am I going to go up with my Ryan and focus? Sorry. Am I going to flank around this way and sneak up? Am I going to go underneath again and try that again? Am I going to wrap around through the stairs? There's so many options. Make a choice. You can't be playing.
I feel like it's like you just making a choice is better than this.
And that's the thing, is it's like, the funny thing is it's like you come up here, and this is actually not too bad. It's Kitsune Rush, you're standing behind your Ryan shield. You could shoot Zarya here. You're a shotgun character, right? Like, you're not amazing at shooting tanks, but you're okay at shooting tanks, right? But what do you do instead?
Play patty cake with Widow.
You play patty cake with Widow at a range where it's ridiculously risky, right? Like, I understand, like, everyone wants that deflect headshot, but this is so risky, right? And then as soon as you're done, oh dear, right? I would prefer an angle. I would prefer you unsettling that backline. I prefer you coming in from an off angle, or if you're gonna focus tank, just focus tank, right? Don't lose your dash, don't lose your deflect, because you're playing patty cake with a Widow. Again. And notice that you still have not found a way to actually get to the backline.
Yeah.
And there, so it's like, you know, that Widowmaker is getting immense value and not even hitting a shot. That's the crazy part. Okay, set it up. Now's the time to set it up. Good. What's next? What's next? Get her out, get her out, get her out, get her out. What's next? This is where it gets cheeky. Deflect, that's okay. Oh, this is too far. Too far.
Yeah.
It's too far, right? I mean, look at the car, right? Like, this is not, I would be shocked if this worked. Well, I'm tickled. I guess the Zarya just, okay, well. I honestly don't know. But hey, we take what we can. We take what we get. So good for you. Now, instead of just being passive aggressive and laughing and chuckling at how stupid you are, because that's hilarious. But what? Okay, so what's the solution then? What's the better choice? What could you be doing now? What could you be doing 5 seconds ago? Like right now. Like what do you do? Right now, what do you
I
do?
feel like Sim is dangerous and could be killed. Although she does have turrets set up. Or like
It's an option.
Jericho.
You could get closer. Okay, what else could you do? Don't just think about immediate, right? Think about setup, right?
Again, like wrapping around on the right side from our
Yeah,
perspective.
yeah. Your team drops, clears out Kiriko. Meanwhile, you're dropping off this way, rotating this way, rotating this way. You're looking at your team. You're looking at your team. You're listening. You're listening. You're listening. You walk up to here, maybe. The Zarya and the Rhine are trading. The Kiriko is helping the Zarya. Then you go for your blade here. Different story. And not only that, but you also have your deflect and your dash because you didn't have to engage from over here. You had to engage from here. And worst case scenarios, what do? Like they could rotate all the way over here away from you. But this is really bad for them because now what can they not see?
Like the entire team.
The entire team. So it's like even then you're like, oh crap, they rotated away from me. Guess what? They didn't want to do that. You made them do that. And so now they're not shooting anybody. And the funny thing is, as soon as they do that, you first off still have an option to rotate deeper. But even if you don't, you can then just turn around and shoot tank. Just turn around and shoot tank. Shoot the Zarya in the back. Shoot the Zarya in the back. Shoot the Zarya in the back. Your team they actually will lose the tank trade because they rotated away from the Genji. That's you creating space and setting up plays. You don't even necessarily need to execute the play, but once you start to set it up, if the enemy team is smart, the threat of that play will oftentimes put them at a disadvantage for that fight. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
This is kind of, I wouldn't say like advanced macro stuff, but this is like pretty high level stuff. But you got to be smart to be able to execute on it. You have to be smart to be able to execute on it. And not just smart, because I think that's such a cop-out. It's not about being smart necessarily, so much as putting the effort in to set these things up. Instead of just standing here and throwing shurikens and fishing for that cool deflect headshot, and then there's your dopamine for the day. You know what I'm saying? You got to think. In the same way that we said that you got to be better than the average Genji player with your mentality and your focus on yourself, you got to be better than the average Genji player in terms of setting things up like this. Like, for example, is this a play? Obviously. Is this a smart play? I don't know. You tell me. What makes this a smart play? What makes this a feed? What do you need for this to work? You need your CDs, right? You have those. What else?
Reasonable amount of distraction from like the rest of my team.
Do you have that?
Yeah.
Okay. You sound unsure.
Usually when I try to do this, I like them to be a little bit like farther like pushed into the
I would agree with that.
under the bridge.
I think this is too early.
Yeah.
I 100% agree. I don't think this is a bad play. I don't think, obviously you're getting close to the snipers. You're coming in from an off angle. It's literally exactly what we wanted from you, but maybe it's a little bit too early. I would prefer, like you said, them to be a little bit more committed. Now this might still work because you have your CDs, you have full HP, you're coming in from an angle, and you're on good targets, but I'm a little bit concerned. Guess what though? It works. You're like, well, I didn't kill the targets. Yes, you did, right? Because look what happens. Widow no longer shooting. Hanzo freaking out. Kiriko turns around. Lucio turns around. Nobody is paying any attention to the Lucio or the Orisa or even your tank. And so your Orisa just butchers everybody. Great job. Would have liked to have been timed better. A little bit more. And the weird thing about that timing is it's actually not, you're not waiting for your team. You're actually waiting for the enemy team to take an engagement. You kind of see what I'm saying? And then punishing that by going on an angle. But really, 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 really well done. Great use of your CDs.
I found that like that you could like climb over that. I was watching like a Necros unranked to GM, and he was like doing that.
Yep.
Plats. And I was like, all right, that's hilarious.
Well, that's all those guys do, right? They find high grounds, they find off angles, they find funny flanks, they find funny things that they can do to find creative ways to get close, right? Get close, get close, get close, get close. And if you can't get close, you die. Nice. See, even Farah, you get close to Farah, she dies. You know, I mean, obviously if she has a mercy, but maybe a different story, but you know, you are a shotgun character, and right now, you're just playing deathmatch. And when you're playing deathmatch, Genji's great.
Yeah, I really take a lot of dopamine out of killing Pharah.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily target Pharah if there's other targets available, but, you know, sure. All right, let's see. Now, again, Pharah Echo, same kind of thing. Yes, they're flyers. They look different. They have different hitboxes, but it's the same thing. How can I get close to the Lucio? How can I get close to the Kiriko? Can I get close to the Pharah? Can I get close to the Echo? Good. You know, again, like this is a mess, but this is Genji mess, right? Find that target. Oh, I actually think you probably would have been better suited to stay on the Echo. You know, just because she was lower in HP. But yeah, this is fine. Okay, and then you go Ashen, yeah, and so on. Yeah, I mean, they definitely counterpicked you. I think there's more ways, still ways for you to provide pressure. I mean, you could even see it in that last engagement, right? You were still getting kills. You're still getting pressure. The biggest reason why you guys lost this, two things that you weren't paying attention to, which it's okay. First off, your team was fighting in a really crappy location. You guys pushed up to get staggers, and instead of resetting to the choke, you guys kept fighting in this awkward location.
Yeah, I get
terrible decision.
Annoyed when teams do that.
Yes. Second thing is that everybody in your team fumbled their ultimate. Like everybody. Like I think your Kiriko muffed up yours, hers. They built their Kitsune. You got no value out of yours. You were 86 on Blade, 97 on Tire, 83 on Nano, and lost the fight. You were this close to having 3 ultimates to win this fight, and you built none of them. So it's like, that's why you lose this fight. And then also at points, mechanically, their target priority, you should have been a little bit cleaner. If you're a little bit cleaner there, you get the kill in the Echo, and this fight is winnable, right? Surprised you honestly swapped off for Blade. I think even into this comp, I would have saved Blade, at least a force beat. But regardless, that's all there is to it. Any questions? Because we can move on to the next code if you'd like to.
No.
Okay. Main things to see while you're pulling up the next code. Creativity with setting up angles that get close instead of just fishing around on main. Some of the mechanics of your blades, and that's mostly it.
What's the next best code that I have? I guess it's Hollywood game, bro. All these games are like really gross.
Okay. Let's get going. Junk, Soldier, Life Weaver, on. Not a bad comp again to play into. Opportunities for kills. Your Rhine is in. Let's go. Right? Let's go. That's it. Right? You fumbled the bag, but that's exactly what you need to do. Right? Because guess what? Soldier's on high ground. He does a lot of damage on high ground.
My only goal there was just like forcing him off.
Right. Exactly. The only thing I will say is even if you can't get the kill, if you hit these shurikens here or those shurikens there, you force this Ana to use CDs. Maybe you force the Zarya to use a CD. Maybe you force the Soldier to run away instead of shooting. You've just forced more pressure. So hitting shots is really important. Really important. Okay. Get him. Get him. Oh, close. That's good. Yeah, the only thing here is I want you to be creative. Where should you engage from?
Direction.
Right? It's just the element of surprise. It's the element of surprise and the fact that they have to move their crosshairs. I guarantee if you engage from here, this Junkrat does not think before he presses his mouse one. Right? And that's where you get your deflects that you want. It's in the moments of panic. That's where you get your deflect kills. And the way to force panic is to engage from an angle. This is not an angle. This is not a bad play. You got close to the enemy team. You had your deflect. You had your dash. To be very clear, this is what you were missing actually the last game. You're doing it here, but you could be doing it better. And that's kind of like the next level. Make sense?
Yeah.
And then even here, deflect, and you really need to, obviously, like this is an unfortunate off angle from the Soldier, because if you could, you deflect to cover here, reset, grab the mega, and go again. It also doesn't help that your Sojourn died so that your team had to back up. And your team backing up kind of abandoned you. Okay. Good. Wow, that's painful. It's okay. Get him out. Get him out. Good. 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 And what? Meanwhile, everybody's freaking out of the soldier. Junkrat gets no healing. Nice job. Reload. Find the next target to get close to. Good. By the way, if you got here and you're like, okay, let's say these guys rotated all the way over here. First off, I'd try to find a way to engage them. If you can't, there is nothing wrong with sitting here behind cover or even here and throwing shurikens at Zarya. Again, you do a lot of damage at this range, right? So you force her back, your Ryan walks forward, then what do? What's the next step?
Oh, so again, you force her back, then Ryan.
So you can't reach these squishies because they're too far away. Let's just say. So you focus the tank from an off angle. Your Ryan, she has to back up. Your Ryan walks forward. Then what do?
Then like flank on a squishy.
Then you get the flank on the squishy because now you have a big punching bag in front of you, right? So if you ever feel like I can't access these squishies, it's okay to hold an angle and shoot the tank to allow your tank to walk forward so that then you can go for the squishies. A little bit of an advanced concept, but something to consider.
Like my first instinct is just like find the access to the squishies.
Right. Your first instinct should be that. It should. But if you can't reach them, it's okay to focus tank from an angle so that you get more help to get to the squishies. Okay. This is fine. She drops. She's naked. Not only is she naked, but you have full CDs, you have dash access. If you fail on this, you could deflect to cover, grab the mega, and go back in again on the angle. Let's see it. Stay on the angle, though. So you're here. First off, hit the shots. Second off, where should you be leaning towards with this deflect?
Toward the mega.
Toward the mega, right? Why? Why is this better than where you go?
Because it's more secluded.
More secluded? It allows you to re-engage faster, and actually, it's safer. When you go back to your team, do you see how dangerous this is?
Yeah, I'm giving them like way too much time to shoot me.
Right. You're just in the middle of them, right? Like you kind of want to think like a tracer. Like you want to be on the periphery. You don't want to be in the middle of the enemy team because you can't deflect what you can't see, right? You can't even dodge what you can't see. You can't shoot what you can't see. So this is really, 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 really dangerous for you. It's what I call, I used to call this the tracer sandwich, right? When you put yourself between targets, but it applies to Genji as well. So you dash, you go for the kill, you shoot, you deflect. If you fail, that's fine. You cover, you go back, and then you're already springboarded for the next engage. Does that make sense? Because, yeah, I mean, wall climb, fail, funny. But if these guys are even marginally better, and honestly, even plat players sometimes, you should have died there instantly.
Yeah.
Grab the mega, go set up your flank. Let's go. And see, the nice thing here is that you have a great angle. You have the element of surprise. I might not have even shot here. I might have just wall climbed up here and gone for something here, right?
Yeah.
Everything that you do feels like you're kind of like a little cautious. And maybe part of it is like, I'm trying to bait out cooldowns. I'm trying to chip her down. You could bait out cooldowns and chip her down a heck of a lot more when you're right here. If I'm Ana and I see a Genji over my head throwing shurikens, I'm not going to sit there and be like, I wonder if I should sleep dart him. You have to now, right now. Because if he hits 2 shurikens in your head, he's going to dash you and you're going to die, right?
I don't know why I did it in one game, but one game on New Junk City, I just kind of played like Rat Genji and just held control all the way around and just kind of found like sneaky little flanks on people. When I got like right in their butt cheeks and just right clicked them and killed them over and over again. It was hilarious.
Yeah, it's good. Because the thing is, it's like you have the right idea of where it's like, I need to throw some shurikens to force cooldowns. But the problem is that you're thinking that this is I either throw shurikens to force cooldowns or I dash in and commit to the kill. High risk, high reward, low risk, low reward. But you're not realizing that there's a low risk, high reward playstyle that involves none of your cooldowns and just requires a slight adjustment of your positioning. This is how you force cooldowns. You kind of see what I'm saying? This is how you force cooldowns. And so find those angles you won't have to worry about, oh no, did I hit my shots? Am I going to just get a freaking die because I committed my dash? Guess what? Take the high ground. You won't have to worry about committing your dash because you won't need your dash to get to her. That's unfortunate. Is there anything? mean, seems okay to me. I think maybe. I mean, really, again, it just all comes down to just everything in life is easier from a high ground off angle. Because even though this is like reasonable, it's still in the middle of the enemy team, right? So it's like when you're here, it kind of sucks, you know? It's not a bad play, but yeah. Okay. Okay. Sure. Sure. Everything is textbook about this except the most important thing. Right? Look at this. Great angle. Great angle. Sorry, bubble. I go in. I dash in directly. Chop. Chop. Deflect the crap that you need to. You even go to cover to avoid the response because they use 3 ultimates in response. Problem is who is tanking here? You. So every single thing and their mother is thrown at you. And your team tries. They really try. Kiriko comes in. She teleports in. Ramattra pops Nemesis. Ashen Life over Waffle. It doesn't matter. They can't. Just wait 5 seconds or 2 seconds or 1 second and this play works. So here, throw the shurikens. Guess what? You don't need to worry about this. Throw shurikens at her head. Keep throwing shurikens at her head. Why be happy with one bubble? Get another bubble. Get life grip. Dash up here. Throw shurikens. Wait for your Ramattra walk forward and then blade. And then it's over. Then you really have it over. You kind of see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just the timing of the blade more than anything else. And I think that that's something that was also a bit of a problem in the last. I mean, it's still great for your team. Your team still might win this fight because they just pop literally 3 ultimates for 1. But, you know, okay, now your team surely wins this fight. Surely. You got time for one more fight, by the way? I know we're running a little bit over.
Yeah.
Okay, sick. Let's keep going then. I mean, she's an idiot. She's gonna die for that. Likely. No, she gets pulled. I think that's pulled. Yeah, she's gonna get pulled. So that's pull down. Nice. Take the angle. Great job. Great job. Perfect. This is great. This is great. This is just a death to mechanics, right? Where if you're slightly better mechanically, oh, I didn't know the Junkrat was here. Junkrat just pulls a fast one on you. But really, this is really good. And the funny thing about this is that this is actually really helpful to your team, even though you die. Because otherwise, this Junkrat might have already rip-tired and already killed your team. Otherwise, this soldier might have killed your Life Weaver or killed your Kiriko or killed your Ashe. And the same thing goes to the Junkrat. So, you know, I mean, it's like one of those things where like if you're slightly more quote-unquote aware, you're probably okay. But I think you guys should still win this fight. Yeah, you guys are fine. Okay. Let's take some notes. So any questions before we take notes? Because we talked about a lot of stuff.
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
What do you need to practice? What needs to improve from your end? Not necessarily what do you need to know or what did you learn, but what do you need to practice?
I need to be more like smarter with how I like making the engagements, I guess.
Right.
Like what pathing I use, and also the timing.
Engagements from angles / pathing. What are you looking for? You are looking for what most of the time? We talk about an engage.
Getting close to people.
Yeah, right. Close angles most of the time. High ground, cover, and good timing with team. No lazy poke angles. Force CDs being a threat. I think that's the most important thing that we talked about. It's a very broad concept, but it's also not something that you necessarily need to perfectly execute and understand to be able to get value out of. Okay, let's keep going. What else do you need to practice?
Mention timing in there.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, okay.
Engagement timing, especially with Blade. Try to be on time or even a tiny bit late. Okay.
Also, just like mechanics, I guess.
Mechanics. Deathmatch is your friend. I don't think your mechanics were a weakness, but your mechanics were not diamond, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, if you want to, you dress the job that you got, right? So you need to play a little bit more like a diamond Genji in terms of how you set up your engages, a little bit more like your diamond Genji in terms of how you set up your blades in terms of timings, and then a little bit more like a diamond Genji in terms of consistency of your combos. And even if you do just slight, like 2% improvements for all of them, yeah, it'll be fine. Anything else? Those are the big three, I think.
Having better like a better plan to like get out of an engage if it goes wrong.
Plan to get out when
Like disengagement, I guess.
wrong. Deflect, cover, angle to disengage to. I agree. I agree with that one. A lot of your proclivity, I think, is the term for disengaging kind of back towards your team, is not always the play, right? So
Like,
just something to
part of
keep you
it's
in mind.
just like experience with what goes
Right.
wrong, what goes right, and
Right, exactly. I think part of that, like if you push that proactivity a little bit more, with the off angles and setting up plays, you are going to be you're going to need to learn how to disengage, right? You're going to need to learn how to kind of be a little bit more self-sufficient and really smart with things like cover usage and so on. So I think that I'm sure that skill will develop as you kind of push yourself. Because let's be honest here, like some of the things that we're doing, especially that first point, that's gonna cost you some deaths, I think. Because it's gonna be something that you're gonna have to learn to experiment with, right? So yeah, okay. No questions.
Nope.
All right.